from the home of the three-piece combos, Pugilism Company. This is Reed, the Black Burt Sugar. BBS. There's a trail of shit talk from Australia to Las Vegas, and it's all one-sided shit talk. Of course, I'm speaking of the upcoming Terence Crawford, Jeff Horn fight on June 9th for the WBO Welterweight Championship. This will be brought to you by the ESPN Plus app. All the while, Crawford's been complimentary of Horn. He even went so far as to say that the Pacquiao fight, which most feel Horn won dubiously based on being in his home country, his home continent, most feel he lost that fight or should have been scored a draw at best for Horn. Crawford's being diplomatic. He says that it could have gone either way. On the flip side, Jeff Horn and his team in particular, they've been angry, paranoid, and a little bit entitled. Okay, you won a title again under dubious means. You defended it against someone no one's ever heard of, and now you feel like people should bow down. Anyway, Horn's promoter, Dean Lonergan, he warns Crawford may get a broken jaw or an eye socket in the fight. For those that don't know, Crawford's a fan of a particular type of Everlast glove that uses horsehair padding. But of course, since Horn's bigger and stronger, then this is quite an advantage for him, right? Or so Dean Lonergan seems to think. May get a broken jaw or eye socket. Okay. Horn himself is frustrated by the lack of respect he continues to get. Just needs to keep winning, and he can't wait to foil Bob Arum's plan. That's also head-scratching. It's as if they're not aware of Arum's history when it comes to promoting the likes of Floyd Mayweather, Guillermo Rigondeaux, or Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford should have gotten a push long ago, and he shouldn't be part of an experimental launch of an ESPN Plus app for his fight. This should be pay-per-view, or at the very least, an ESPN broadcast, just like the last showing of Lomachenko against Linares. That would be a perfect vehicle to showcase Terence Crawford's move up to 147. But I digress. It's happening on the app, and that just is what it is. Glenn Rushton, who is Horn's promoter, he is vocally petitioning to Robert Byrd, vocally petitioning to Byrd, who will be reffing the fight Saturday night, to allow Horn to work on the inside. And despite the litany of headbutts that sliced and diced both sides of Manny Pacquiao's head, and despite the wrestling, and despite the holding and hitting, Horn is not, I repeat, not a dirty fighter. So says his trainer, Glenn Rushton. Rushton also opines, he also states, Crawford was wobbled by Gamboa. We will drop him. Since Gamboa wobbled him, we will drop him. Rushton doesn't feel Crawford's chin has been tested. I like the show of solidarity. I like that Rushton's taking ownership with the we will, we this, we that. But the fact of the matter is, we won't be getting hit by Crawford. He will be getting hit by Crawford. We don't have to adjust to when Crawford switches stances and throws jabs with either hand. He has to adjust to that. We don't have to be wary of TC's body attack. We don't have anything to worry about. We're not getting touched to the body the way Julius Ndongo was. He being Jeff Horn has to worry about that. What we're faced with, y'all, is mouths writing some checks. But the things about mouths and checks is coming out of somebody's ass. Don't write that check that your ass can't cash, because that's what we're on the brink of. The more the talk occurs, the more I favor Crawford. Crawford isn't bothered by this, But rest assured, he's motivated. He wants to put on a show. He wants to illustrate fully and painfully to the world that Jeff Horn is not on his level. Now, I'll go on record now and state Crawford by KO in 6 or less. And as we get closer to fight night, and the more this shit talk builds, the more I'm thinking it'll be closer to earlier than 6. We'll see. But right now, let's keep it at Crawford 6-round stoppage. On the Horn Crawford undercard, Jose Sniper Pedraza and Shakur Stevenson will be featured in separate bouts. Also June 9th, we have the Showtime doubleheader featuring Leo Santa Cruz versus Abner Mares, with Jermell Charlo versus Austin Trout on the undercard. Trout, he's the complete opposite. Whereas Horn and his team, they're talking it. Trout, he's always been a classy dude, and he's being such in the lead up to his fight with Charlo. He says Jermell Charlo has a better skill set and is faster than his twin brother Jamal. Trout also states that Jermell Charlo has boatloads more skills than Jarrett Hurd. Like, it's not even close skillfully. Basically, all Hurd brought to the table was size. Charlo himself is expecting a tactical fight. Says he won't press for the KO, which is smart. He's a seasoned vet. He knows when you press for the KO, when you make that your goal, it's like hitting a baseball. If you're trying to knock it out the park, 9 times out of 10, you won't. The thing about it, this fight will be in L.A. That Staples Center crowd will be bloodthirsty, especially waiting for the fireworks that Santa Cruz and Abner Mares too will promise. But Charlo Trout won't be that type of fight. It'll be tactical. There'll be a lot of feigning, a lot of waiting for countering opportunities. But Trout, he's too long in the tooth, man. I think that loss to Hurd took something from him. I mean, it was physical, it was taxing. And even though Charlo isn't that same type of fighter, it'll catch up to Trout late in the fight. I see Charlo stopping him about the 10th or 11th, or winning a wide unanimous decision. Speaking of Santa Cruz, Mares too, Abner Mares sees an eventual move to 130, and he'd eventually like to face Gervonta Tank Davis, he says. Now, strangely, Mares is, after assuming he beats Santa Cruz, he's targeting Oscar Valdez and then possibly Carl Frampton at 26 before moving up. I find it strange that he made no mention at all of Mr. Gary Russell. And just to me, Russell would be a good litmus test for Mares before jumping in with the younger, bigger, stronger, more powerful Tank Davis. It almost sounds like Mares would be looking at Tank as a cash-out opportunity, which I hope wouldn't be the case, but realistically, that's the only other way this can be viewed, in my opinion. Before I get out of here, Earl Spence versus Carlos Ocampo, June 16th in Dallas on Showtime. Just got some news about the undercard. Daniel Roman versus Moises Checky Flores for a 122-pound title. We'll also have Javier Fortuna versus Adrian Granados in a 10-round, 140-pound scrap. I'd heard some whispers of Devin Alexander versus Andre Berto, but I definitely like the idea of Roman versus Flores and Fortuna versus Granados much better. Those will be fitting to have on the undercard of EJ's homecoming. Can't wait for that night. Anyways, y'all, home of the 3-piece combos, Pugilism Company. This is Reed, BBS, the Black Burp Sugar. Peace, and God bless.